7 years ago today, I did one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I admitted to my mom, to my buddies, that I was suffering chronic depression and considering suicide. Even harder than that, though, was admitting it to myself. I suffered a lot for many years before I realized what was even happening. By the time I had reached rock bottom in many aspects of life. So much so that it became an existential dead end. And I was facing the door of an early exit, right? Quite literally, my life had spiraled down to a point where I had nothing, no reason to keep going. Every year that I reflect on this little anniversary of mine, I think of some advice that I would give myself. Each year it's a little bit different because I learn and I grow and I change. This year, my advice would be, life is a perfect game. God has designed the perfect game. It doesn't matter to God whether you win or lose. People are winning, people are losing. The game of life. What happens to you will be remembered in the book of life for all time. Even if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in anything, all that matters then is what people remember about you, what happened to you. And if you lose the game early, that's on your permanent record, whether there's a karma and a reincarnation or there's a heaven or a hell or not. So all you have to do is design your life how you want it to go. Become the superhero of your own life. Figure out what games you're playing and then write down the rules to those games as you figure them out. Come up with strategies. Experiment. You are the scientist of your life's great experiment. You are the architect of your own destiny. You're here to figure out what it means to be you. And you can do that. That's the fun in the game. Don't miss out on the fun. Participate in the game of life. Figure out what your quest is, what your mini games are. And then you just have to reverse engineer it. What are the rules to those games? Then follow those rules. And as you figure out which rules work and which rules don't, you can change them. You can share those rules with others who are early on in the game that you're playing. And there's a lot of games. I call it the 5 vitalities because you need 5 things, core fundamental things: physical health, mental health, spiritual health, social health, and economic health. So if you can keep track of these 5 things in your life, you will perpetually get yourself where you want to go in your story of life. How you want it to play out is how you should be tracking the playing out of your life. And you can always change. You can always change the game. You're always going to change the game. As you change, you're going to desire different things. Your goals are going to change. Your end game is going to change. And that's okay. That's good. That means that you're evolving. And so there's no end to the enlightenment. You just keep growing. You just keep growing and growing. And that's what's scary about not doing what you're supposed to do, not fulfilling your purpose, is that if you die before you've grown as much as you can possibly grow, well, whatever happens in the afterlife, it's not as good as it could have been. Whatever it is, that's up to you. It's your job to figure out what it means to be you in this life. Everything else is just a mini game. So don't focus on it like it's the whole game. Those 5 things, people can live for one of those things, and it'll be sad if they never get to experience the rest of life, even if it's the spiritual one. If you don't get to know what it's like to experience full physical vitality, full social vitality, be known and be networked and be connected with all of the people who share the same passions as you all around the world, to have a rich, loving family and many generations of family. These are social vitalities. And to enrich your mind with all of the knowledge that you could that interests you. Behind every little thing that interests you is an entire world of knowledge that you could spend your entire life pursuing, even the smallest thing. So you really should be scientifically approaching your life because you don't want to waste time not fulfilling your potential. It's okay if you're in a place in your life where things aren't happening for you and they're moving slowly and you don't know who you are and you don't know what you want to be. It's okay. That's a part of it. That's a place in the game that we find ourselves in. When you're in that place, That's when I recommend you just take out a piece of paper, like close your eyes and let yourself be a kid again and use your imagination to figure out, if I could be anything, what would I be? If life had meaning, if there was a reason for me to be here, what would it be? Imagine it. Let yourself get charged up by that. That's your imagination. That's also your intuition. That's what that shit means. So, however you want to look at it, forgive the semantics, man. Don't get so wrapped up in the semantics. Just appreciate the experience. Remember what it was like to be a kid before all of this shit started building up and making you hate life, making you feel separate from everyone and everything. You don't need to go get. You already are everything you need to be. You just need to figure out what you want to be and then start living it out. I haven't figured it all out, but it's fun to talk about. It's fun to think about. And I love connecting with people who think this way and talk about these kinds of things. And the internet's a great way for me to meet those people. Since I started on this quest, 2015, 2016, that's when I really started making this a lifelong game. Where it's like, okay, I don't need to just recover from depression. Now I got to figure out my life's intent, my life's purpose, my dharma, and start going for it. So I think that's the important part. That's the thing that I can share, and that's what I've been sharing online. If you've read any of my essays or my book, or you've seen my YouTube videos, even if you've listened to my music, like everything I do is to try to help people, because it really is just a way of looking at life. That life is a game for you to figure out what it means to be. And you can do this scientifically so that you can win the games that you want to win or that you want to play. And you can become anyone. You can do anything. You have to change that inner alchemy, that energy that's inside of you. It can change. So don't feel stuck. These are things that I wish I would have heard. I tried to do this in 1 minute and I couldn't. I've repeated myself a few times, but these are the things that I wish I would have known in the beginning of the game, when I realized what game I was playing, the game of self-realization. If any of this interests you in any way, please, by all means, reach out to me. I'd love to get to know you. You can also follow GodXP online, and we're doing some cohort-based courses coming up. I invite you to go to GodXP, fill out the survey if you'd like to participate in the beta test of the first course. It's going to be a semi-self-paced course, and in 2022, there's going to be a lot coming. So enjoy the free content. There's a podcast. I do the podcast for the same reason. I want to talk to people who have these amazing transformative experiences of self-realization in their life, and then learn from them, It's cool. I get to talk to the people who can give me some perspective and who I can bounce perspective off of. And I hope that those conversations benefit others, because it was stuff like that helped me when I was getting started. So it's important to try to be that light for others if possible. That's it. That's enough rambling. Go to godxp.com or anthonypolanco.com. I'll see you there. Peace out.